What? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. Hey, boy, you can't be doing that. I almost like, you can't be doing that. It is good to be back. I see nothing's changed, but it's good to be back. You are listening to Michelle Bryant, Say Something Real here, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. And let me say good morning to the brothers in the building. What's up, Rod Out? How you doing this morning, sir?
Michelle, you know, it's Monday.
It is.
At least that's what they tell us.
Oh, here we go.
No, but you know, it's Monday. The sun is shining. It feels pretty good outside, Shell.
All right.
And every time the sun shines, I feel a certain way. I feel like I need to sing you a song, but I'm not going to do it, though.
Really?
Because I didn't rehearse.
We said
I didn't rehearse.
Well,
so, but other than that, Shell, I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, good.
You know,
good.
I had an extended weekend.
An extended weekend.
Yeah, it was.
Did you do extended fun things?
Well, Shell, you just know, every weekend
lead your usual boring life.
Every weekend for me is fun, you know.
At your house, eating sweet potatoes.
You know,
I mean, did the extended day do anything for you? Did you go somewhere? Did you invite some people over? Oh, wait, did you cook?
I went to the gym.
You do that every day.
I went to the
gym. You do that every day. So nothing. Your extended day meant nothing.
And then, you know, right. I went and spent some time.
All right, I got you.
You know, polishing myself.
Hey, Clark, how you doing today?
Once again,
just you. we have moved on.
Put me off.
I mean, he was sitting there looking at the preacher like, "Come on, man!"
Right? Like, man,
I mean, that's one reason why I'll go to church. Because I swear to God, I'll be scared I would scream out what I be thinking. Because I'm so used to doing it at home. And be like, man, you taking too long.
Just imagine how I feel. And I'm on the organ.
No, because the organists be making the mess go longer than they have to. Because if y'all didn't start that, trying to amp them up, then it wouldn't go that long. But y'all don't, because the organist can leave them hanging and just stop playing.
See, but it's a certain,
or just go real soft. But now y'all be doing that holiness, you know, amping them up. You be like, and I always look at the organist like, I swear to God, I wish I had an apple. I throw it straight at his head. You know this dude been standing up here too long with this.
That's because we feel a certain.
Cats don't want to close the doors of the church because they ain't get nobody. They go just, hey, bro, ain't nobody joining today. Close the doors. Close the doors of the church. Ain't nobody coming. And then I believe people just get up because they're like, okay, man, somebody get up because if they don't get up, we can go home.
I'm a join.
Exactly. And you be looking like, did he join last month? And then everybody be like, thank you, bro. Thank you, ma'am. And somebody push them little kids up here. little kids be mad. And they be like, man, I got to go. Yes, and Day. He needs to join the church. Look, I hope everybody had a great holiday. Clark, you cooked, right?
Yeah, I had to cook. Me and Debo had cooked barbecue for Michelle.
Okay.
But I cooked. You know, I wasn't planning on cooking, but you know, once I got the grill up. Well, once you cook these two slabs right here,
man, I wish I had known. I would have eased me some slabs over.
For real, man. I would have bought you a couple of hot dogs.
You could do that at the house.
I know, but
I'm talking about real meat.
I know, but I won't Clark to do it.
That's about real meat. He doing some hot dogs. I remember my mom and them used to be so janky when we was young, and they would barbecue, and they have all the ribs, and they had that slop mop with the vinegar water. Yeah, just you like, that's gonna be good. And then every time to start, and then we run around playing, and they were like, give them a hot dog off the grill, while they were there playing. Okay, cool. So then it was time to eat. We was still getting hot dogs, but all the grown people was getting ribs. Man, we was exactly. We was looking at my mama's outside. Yeah, we was getting the janky pieces of meat. We was looking, and then finally, my cousin, he said something. My cousin said,
"What did he say?"
My cousin said.
He didn't get slapped.
My cousin said, "Oh, you got to be 18 to get some real meat."
Right, because they was giving everybody.
My uncle said, "Nah, you got to have a damn job. If you got a job, you get real meat. If you don't have no job, you get what we give you."
So
we was dying laughing.
But Shell, it's funny that happened to y'all, because I thought that just happened to us. Like running around playing, and there's ribs and chicken.
I mean, you just see
barbecue.
Come on now.
And they bopping the ribs. You like, it's falling off the bone.
All you get is a burger.
Hey, they used to say,
it's a baked bean and potato salad.
That's it.
But they used to say in our house, and I remember Mama said it so clear: meat make you hard-headed. Well, why y'all eating it?
They want hard-headed.
Meat make you hard-headed. So what? The hot dogs ain't real meat? Like,
what you telling me, Mama?
What you feeding us? Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I had all kinds of memories of 4th of July. My brother, we was talking about that. We had different outfits for the 4th of July. Yeah. We had the wake up outfit that you just put on, you just play in. Outside. Then we had to come in and take our bath because the company was coming over outfit.
Right.
So we had that outfit.
There you go.
Yeah. And we all had the red, white, blue short sets. I'm telling you, it was cultural. It was cultural.
Yeah.
You had multiple outfits stuff for the 4th of July. We did.
It's funny because we all sitting here, right? This is the first time we've ever had this conversation. And for it to be so relatable amongst all three of us is crazy.
Yeah,
that's what we did, though. We did the same thing.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, my wife, when my kids young, she used to do that. She had they morning, when they get up.
Yeah.
And she had when the time to play. Then she made them go to put on their play clothes. She had different outfits for that.
I'm telling you, you had to have multiple outfits for the 4th of July. And watermelon everywhere. We used to just set it off. So Jermaine was saying, like this year 4th of July felt funny. It didn't feel the same. And I'm like, just say what it is. Donald Trump, they messed it up for everybody.
I've been saying it all
as I say, everything he touched turns to crap. He literally has messed it up for like so many people. And even though folks forged ahead, and still tried to have celebrations independent of the nonsense that was going on in DC. There are a lot of people that they had to find their own reason to celebrate. It wasn't because they was necessarily proud of what's going on in this country right now. And even I saw somebody had put out something that said, the country is 250 years old. Black people have only been free for 161 years of that 250. And then what did that freedom even look like when you factor in Jim Crow, segregation, all of the different, mess that accompanied being Black in this country. And somebody even did this piece about, do Black people hang flags outside of their homes? I know a lot of Black veterans that hang their flags.
Yeah, that.
My mother hung a flag, but my brother had served. My dad served. So my mother always had a flag outside of her house. And I remember her neighbor, when my mother was sick, the flag had dropped, the pole had kind of dropped down, and because it wasn't hanging the right way it was supposed to. And I had come home, take care of my mom, and I looked out the window and I saw her neighbor This white guy across the street, he came and he readjusted the flagpole, took the whole thing down, did something to the pole and rehung the flag. And he never said a word. He just fixed it and went on back home. And I told my mom, I said, your neighbor came over here. She said, oh yeah, he's a veteran. So I'm not surprised that he did that. But it felt funny. It felt funny for a lot of folks. Mm-hmm. And I even passed by some, because I was actually working on the 4th of July. So I was moving around a lot in the city, and I passed by like celebrations and folks at the park because the weather was kind of janky too. Yeah, it was raining off and on. And but again, it just seemed different.
Didn't it rain on this celebration?
Well, you bring us to a great point between the heat, because the heat was like upwards to 107 degrees in the feel like category. It was so bad. But then they got the severe storms. So they had to close everything down. And then they sent people to area places in DC to shelter in place for potential tornadoes or storms. So all of the MAGA people, y'all know where they got sent, right?
Yeah,
Where?
I was rolling. Like, that's what y'all get. Y'all sit there and soak it up. Y'all look at what y'all get.
What did I miss?
I was rolling.
So the Freedom 250 crew got sent to the Smithsonian African American History Museum.
Look at God.
So all of the racists had to go.
Oh, they were staring them in their face.
I don't know. Because look, me and Keisha was ribbing about this last night. Keisha said they should have had a sign on the door that said coloreds only.
Yep.
Since y'all want to segregate and be racist, this building is for coloreds only. And but yeah, they all had to be forced into the Smithsonian African American History Museum. And so sure, first time some of them had ever stepped foot in there. Well, probably never go in there again. And there were 1,000 of them because they had reached their capacity. So they couldn't let 1,000 of them in. So they stood outside in the rain singing, "We Shall Overcome."
See? God is good.
well, really, it was their version of "We Shall Overcome." They were singing patriotic songs, but it was the equivalent of "We Shall Overcome." Yeah, that's what they was doing.
God don't make no mistakes.
But boy, black people was laughing all over the city when them pictures came out. And I said, I know Lonnie Bunch them and the folks at the museum was just looking like, oh, they took pictures. I was like, look at the sense of humor, man, of God and anything that happened between the weather, National Alert System. Trump didn't make his speech to almost midnight.
I know, that was crazy.
I'm like, who up? He didn't make his speech to almost midnight.
And it was so unnecessary.
But then they said he had went on social media and had posted 67 times in 2 hours about just random nonsense. It's something wrong with that man. Like mentally, he is off. And all these people functioning around him, using him for whatever they can get out of him before he finally just fall off the cliff, like Mitch McConnell has. Because as you all may have heard, Mitch McConnell had a cardiac arrest situation. And they said they had to bring Mitch McConnell back. But Mitch McConnell has been in the hospital for over 18 days. It's probably more like 20 days now. And there were questions, there were stories that actually in the title, it said, is Mitch McConnell dead? Because nobody had heard anything or seen anything. His staff comes out, no. He's been working along with us on issues, blah, blah, blah. And folks like, y'all need to stop playing. Y'all need to stop playing. This man done froze, literally, at least twice on camera in full view of everyone, having to be, in one case, whisked away by his staff. So he had a medical emergency, and A lot of people believe that the good folks down in Kentucky and in his legislative offices are not being forthright about what is really going on. They have released very little information. But I just don't understand. Well, I'm not, that's disingenuous. I do know, or at least I feel like I know why these people just don't go and leave office. When you started freezing on camera, you should have left office. I mean, they just hold on to the long, very bitter end. Even some of the black ones, because I think like Max, how old is Maxine? Let me see, Maxine.
Yeah, you should either leave office or use Duracell.
Maxine Waters is 87 years old. 87.
That's crazy.
87.
She should have been going there.
Nancy Pelosi, old as hell. Like, and I don't mean disrespect because I know I got some 87-year-olds listening to the show. No disrespect intended. But there comes a time when it's time to let somebody else. Yeah. And it doesn't mean you can't still be politically engaged. You can't contribute. You can't be active and supportive. But at 87, and I'm not saying you're not sharp no more. I'm not saying any of that. What's the succession plan? What's the off ramp for you, and how does somebody else be put in position? And so Mitch McConnell. This is madness. Go ahead, Jay. You want to say something?
No, I was going to ask you. Do you think that's partly because they are being selfish and they don't want?
They 100% being selfish.
Selfish. Okay.
Yeah.
You being selfish. Hey, can't nobody else. They need my experience. They can get all of that if you just agree to be a mentor.
Yep, and
you can be a mentor. Yeah. So you don't have to be in the room to help lead and to help help guide people. You making $180,000. Some of these folks are still not completely set up right for retirement, and so you still making money. The proximity to power and access. You know what kind of perks you get being a member of Congress? Some folks, they taking care of their whole family off that congressional check. So I can't just leave because it's not just me that's going to be impacted. My family going to be impacted. There are a number of reasons why these people don't leave. But at 80 and 85 years old, man, it's time to go. And I'm not even that person. But I understand, in the things that I do, there is a time to be grooming other people to come into these positions and these roles. And some folks just think that they're the only ones that can do the work. You not. Somebody was doing it before you got there. Somebody gonna do it after you leave. But the way you set people up to be successful in the next iteration of this role is what's important. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was gonna say, because then at that age, if anything happens, Lord forbid, but if anything happens, there's nobody that's in place that can actually pick up the mantle. And
they haven't been grooming anybody.
Haven't
been training nobody, haven't been getting them exposed, bringing them to DC, walking them through. And I'm not saying that the congressional member should be the person that is, who's my heir apparent. I'm not saying that, but giving people the opportunity. Like, I know that like this group of 8, 9 are most likely interested in my seat. Or this congressional seat, and start to talk to people. But Mitch McConnell, this is nonsense. Dude, you froze on camera. You look like the Tin Man. I mean, no comment, just an ice block. And it happened twice. You ain't no telling how many other times it's happened, just not in the view of the public.
He should use Duracell. Duracell got that bunny playing the bass drum.
He way past the Duracell phase. he way past that. And then this is interesting. The most significant legal development regarding Senate succession rules came in 2024 when Kentucky lawmakers passed House Bill 622. House Bill 622 repealed a bill and replaced Kentucky's Senate vacancy process with a special election system. Under the revised law, the governor must issue a proclamation calling an election, with the winner serving the remainder of the unexpired term. The legislation also established administrative deadlines for notices, candidates filing, blah, blah, blah. Perhaps most notably, the law eliminated the governor's authority to appoint an interim senator, meaning Kentucky no longer follows the succession model used in most states. Because if something happens to a sitting member of Congress and they have to suddenly resign, they die in office, the governor can appoint somebody to fill that role. In Kentucky, they changed it so that there has to be an election. But somebody got to start thinking about this, because this is madness to me. Your staff is making decisions. You're not making no decisions. Your staff is making decisions.
So didn't we already have somebody pass away in office?
Yeah.
That seat was vacant for a minute, right?
We've had at least 3 folks that have passed in office, and I can run their names back, but I'm sorry, I just was looking at something. But yeah, I mean, even what's his name's wife, because we got wives end up taking their husband's seats.
They can do that.
They run for it, and the community, oh, I love John Lewis, I'm gonna elect his wife. He'd be like, and his wife is qualified to do what? Or, oh, I love so and so, I'm gonna elect her husband. Yeah, we see that all the time. Somebody said if Mitch McConnell is not dead, he's somewhere in the hospital under heavy guard. Danny Davis, James Clyburn. See, this person naming a lot of the older people. And ironically, because they got Gwen Moore on here, Maxine, Benny Thompson, and Gwen Moore, of that group. Let me see. How old is Benny Thompson? And I want to be clear. Like, I love these people, but man, some of y'all need to stop playing. I'm coming. Benny Thompson age, how old are you? So I said Maxine was 87. Just Jesus, you 3 years from 90. So Benny Thompson is 78. And who else did they name? Oh, Danny Davis. How old is Danny Davis? Danny Davis. I'm just curious now, being nosy. 84. Even though I will admit, when he was in the studio, he looked amazing and was sharp as all get out. But you can still be amazing and sharp and politically influential, but not in that seat. I just think that after a certain point in time, we gotta stop. You shouldn't be sitting there at 87, damn near 90 years old. You refuse to leave. Like, come on, fam. All right, I gotta take a quick break. When we get back, a lot of other things to get to this morning. I did note, and good morning, I didn't say that yet, to the folks on social media. It is great to see you on YouTube and Facebook. I understand that there was a little bit of a conversation about who got in first this morning. And Eval Kenya was like, oh, y'all thought I had ceded my position? Y'all thought my number 1 spot was not mine anymore? Henry Peters, who had usurped that last week and had got in at number 1, came in at number 2. And then here comes Happiness Donuts. Am I first? They quickly pointed out, no, Happiness Donuts, you are not. So let me just say good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
WNOV.
All right, family, let me go local for just a little bit. A couple of things. Number one, I talked about the fact that over in Granville, in the area in which I live in, that they are not moving forward. The Granville bid is not moving forward with the business incubator project, and that may not be the official name for it, but that's basically the concept, in which they were planning to create space for roughly 40 businesses in the Granville area to be able to be housed and have a brick and mortar spot by which to help run their businesses. And they're not moving forward with that. Some people confused what I said with that the Granville Blues Festival is not happening. Those are not the same things. Granville Blues Festival is happening. So I just wanted to make sure that I corrected that, because a couple of people hit me about it and must have came in on the tail end of the story, or maybe I just was not clear. But it was the Granville Business Improvement District, the space that was going to be utilized to house these businesses, that is not moving forward. You have seen the billboards for the Granville Blues Fest. It is happening as scheduled. Okay, so that's one. Let me just take a moment and talk about the fireworks last night. Oh, I'm sorry, on July 4th, Saturday. So in our neighborhood, again, I'm in Granville, we didn't have anything that we could see. We didn't have any fireworks. We've had them at the park before, at Noyes Park. We didn't have any fireworks. We didn't have a parade for 4th of July. We didn't have nothing. And this is a neighborhood that traditionally has had all those things. We had a parade when Alderwoman, then Alderwoman Shantia Lewis became the alderperson. She moved the parade off the route through the residential neighborhood and moved it into like a business corridor where there wasn't nobody out there early in the morning at the time that we would do the parade. Just messed up the whole thing, moving that parade route. I remember people used to be able to come out on their porch in their pajamas with their cup of coffee, their grandkids running around in the yard, waving at the parade. Because that would be when I worked in Lena Taylor's Senate office, we did 5 parades a day. We did 5. And we started with the Granville parade as early as 9 a.m. Then we went over to Glendale. Then we went to Tulsa. Then we went to Brown Deer. Then we finished in Shorewood. We would do 5 parades in one day. So it was really sad just to realize everything that's kind of going on with Granville. And we knew we didn't have a fireworks show. But we are sitting in the house, and me, Keisha, and her pops, we sitting there, and we like, these fireworks sound awfully close. So I got up and opened the front door. It looked like the Macy's Day fireworks show was happening right outside our front door. I don't know where people are getting these grades of fireworks that they're using, but man, when I tell you, they are like complicated looking, huge, not that little stuff that fizzles and goes up. Nah, this was celebration worthy. And you know, we've heard some people, somebody said Senator Taylor always gave out freeze pops in the Shorewood parade. She sure did. Shorewood used to be hot with Lena, and them little kids be like, you got my freezy pop, and then grown folks was asking for them. That's funny that somebody put that on there. But you know, did anybody else experience the fireworks in a crazy way?
Man, let me tell you, hey, them brothers on 20th and Keith, them brothers on that corner, man, they must have brought the whole tent. Cause they was letting it go.
Man, listen here, man.
They was letting it go.
I swear, I stood outside and looked in the sky because I'm like, this sound like Iraq, sound like a war zone, like the whole city was being bombed.
They was shooting at
and it was listen. It sounded like Harlem Nights out there, man.
Yeah, but it was, but they were these now brothers and sisters, they was doing their thing because all over the city,
man, it was lit up.
Man,
it was so much smoke we couldn't see across the street. Because like our mailbox is across the street from the house, and I was like, look, you can't even see across the street. It was so much smoke. And there was some people that. A couple people got their hand blown off.
Yeah,
fingers blown off.
That was crazy.
Somebody face they dead now. You know, because of trying to handle these professional grade seeming fireworks. It's like y'all, airplane. They believe got hit by fireworks.
Yeah.
How?
Because it flew into the whoever was doing it. It was landing, and so the fireworks went off in the landing path of the airline, and that's illegal. So if they figure out who did it, you're going to jail.
Yeah, that's prison time.
Yeah, you're going to jail. Somebody said my dogs haven't slept well for almost a week because of dang fireworks. Somebody said sound like we was in Vietnam.
I swear, man.
Man.
It was like pop, pop. Man, I swear, I thought about the movie Harlem Nights, like with Arsenio Hall.
Somebody
said the best thing you could do was stay home and man your garden hose. Just in case something touched the roof. Because I'm telling you, it's so wooded where we stay. I'm like, man, this is not good. But because it had rained earlier that day, stuff was a little moist. But yeah, it was not feeling good. I was like, y'all, it was pretty though. It was pretty. But I was like, man, where are these people getting these dang fireworks from? So hopefully. What you say, Little Bobo? No, they getting it from. They getting it from Big Bubba.
Yeah,
that's who they getting.
Big Bubba pulled up in the van.
Because as we would always say, how is it illegal to have these fireworks in the neighborhood, but you got stores that sell them? Right. It makes no sense. That part. It makes no sense. We got a caller. Let me grab them real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening?
What's going on?
Good morning. What's happening?
Man, we're going to talk about fireworks. You see Donald Trump's fireworks show?
Well, not really, because what time did it start? Like at midnight?
That dude set off 860,000 fireworks where they're supposed to let the fireworks breathe. You hit one, boom, chill, boom, hit another one. He was just booming the whole time where it was so foggy the next day they had to have clear air control the next day because that's how many he fired off back to back.
That's crazy.
He fired so many off that you couldn't even see the explosion, the prettiness of them because the smoke was too many of them back to back.
I mean,
the air was so crazy.
No, you are absolutely correct. I think that it was just because he's so busy and always trying to outdo everybody else. I had more, I had bigger, I had better. He sounded like, I ain't even gonna say, a brother with a little man syndrome. That's what he sounded like. But yeah, he did it so, like you said, to the point that you couldn't even appreciate what was happening because you're not giving adequate time in between these fireworks for people to even see what's going on. And they got pictures of the smoke. The smoke was ridiculous. Well, go ahead, bro.
Come on, fam. And then he rambling on. He rambled on about something at the podium at 12. And guess what he do? I'm going to be sitting there watching the fireworks with you guys. Guess what he would do? Sleep like him up.
Snoozing.
He didn't talk himself to sleep. Only watching the fireworks. you can't stay up past 12, Paw.
Look. It is just scandalous the way he just hijacked that whole thing. But yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate it. Look, y'all, because the other part that became, relevant is people figured out how they stole his money for the America 250 celebration. Donald Trump. So Congress creates a committee comprised of Democrats and Republicans years ago to be able to put money aside and to plan what the 250th anniversary of this country's founding would look like. Donald Trump, being who he is, divisive all day long, he decides he's going to hold and create his own committee. And that's the Freedom 250. So money that had been put into the congressionally backed America 250 celebration, Donald Trump reduced that money that was available to that committee. He took funds away and applied them to his committee. And then donors, particularly corporate donors, who thought that they were backing the nonpartisan, bipartisan effort, ended up finding out that their money was going to Donald Trump's little 250 celebration. And the money that he raised was madness. It was madness. Like, I think the lowest sponsorship package was $500,000. And literally, this guy is stealing money away from the committee's money, the congressionally approved committee, to put it into his nonsense so that you can pay for 850,000 pyrotechnics in terms of a fireworks display that ended up being just a clown show. Like, I just, you get stuck trying to understand why all of this is being allowed. You literally hijack the country celebration. And then he had banners around DC that were 3 stories high of his face. 3 story. And when I say story, y'all understand I'm talking about like the equivalent of an apartment floor, a first-story building. Yeah. So take your house and put another floor on it and another floor on it. So from floor to ceiling on your 3 floors in your house, that's a 3-story poster. He had posters that big all around DC, his face and George Washington's face, along with him going up to Mount Rushmore because they lobbying, trying to figure out how to put his face up on Mount Rushmore. When I tell you, like, these people are so crazy, it is beyond understanding. It is just madness. It is absolute madness. So he just like I said, everything he touches, he just mucks up. Everything he touches, it just ends up being disgusting. And it's about self and about him. It's not about this country. And then we see, and callers, I see y'all, here I come, the good old boys with they Confederate flags and they mask on their face. You didn't want to wear a mask during COVID, but you don't have no problem wearing a mask when you're trying to like hide your face and, you know, and intimidate people with your khaki pants on. But they come to the city in DC, 400, 500 strong, you know, and march with their foolishness. So here you have the folks representing the group who lost in the Civil War. You lost the battle, but you swinging your Confederate flags as you walk through the National Mall area. So the whole thing was embarrassing. It was divisive. Trump again figured out a way to get rich, making money off these corporations and stealing money directly from taxpayer pockets in terms of diverting those funds to fund his own his own ideology, his own initiatives. Think about that. Corporations, the minimum to get in was $500,000. The highest package, I think, was around $10 million. All of that money could have been going to the country's celebration, not to this partisan, just foolishness that this man did. Like, I just keep looking at folks like, so what? This was y'all wanted? Y'all got it? Does it look like what you thought it was gonna look like? Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, good morning, Michelle Bryant.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, I have a question. It might be stupid, but okay, let me just.
No such thing. Let's go.
I got this United States Census, and it's saying your response is required by law. Usually I respond, but since that demon is in office right now, I don't want to do anything that would encourage any of his shenanigans. Should I fill it out?
Yeah, fill it out, because what they're doing right now is random sampling of households. This isn't the 10-year decade count. So you don't have to. So this one, while they have all that language on there, it is not obviously our official census count that we typically do. This one is called either the American Community Survey.
Yes, that's
what it is. Okay, yeah. And so they do say that, or an invitation from the census test participation is mandatory by law. So I will say that for the record. It says it's mandatory by law. Yeah. But hey.
Right.
I'll just leave it there.
I didn't get it. It never came in the mail. I didn't get it.
Right. Because I was like, well, is this gonna somehow help him? I don't want to do anything
it's not gonna help him. It's definitely not gonna help him, but they definitely are trying to take a gauge of who's in the country, what's going on. I always cooperate with the census because when it's used in the way it's supposed to, that's how money comes to our communities. For every individual that that we can count, that's roughly $1,000 in federal dollars that comes to the community. And it is also how we can figure out who should have representation. That's how we'll know it's 30% Black people in the state of Alabama based on those census responses. So it is important to fill them out. It is tied to actual things that benefit our community. But we just know that unfortunately we have people that take good information for bad.
Right. That's what I'm afraid. I don't want it to be used,
Yeah, but no, don't
be used correctly.
Yeah, just do your part. Don't worry about how it's going.
Okay.
Yeah, on their end, just do your part. Do what you need to do with it.
Okay. That's all I needed to know.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Appreciate her call. Got another caller. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, WNOV. Ray Mack is in the house.
What's going on, Ray?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing very good. How was y'all 4th of July weekend?
It was all right.
Yeah, all right. Hey, like I continue to always say, brothers and sisters down in Milwaukee, stop the killing, increase the peace. Tune into 860 WNOV and say something real. And Ray Mack is in the house.
Thanks, Ray. Look, since he said it, I don't know if anybody saw them videos from Summerfest and these group of kids that was down there fighting. Man, y'all need to stop.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, just. And it was a bunch of women, bunch of girls, young girls fighting. Boys laughing, videotaping them, young men laughing, videotaping them. But this is my thing. If you prone to fighting, you prone to a slick mouth, you're prone to altercations. Why you wear weave? It was bundles all over the ground. People was picking up folks' hair because I guess it was Brazilian and they wanted to save it because it cost $120 for a bundle. But why you wear weave and you go into a fight?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, like when back in my day, when you knew you was gonna get into a fight,
man, you was a tie.
You braided your hair.
Yeah, you put on the scarf.
Yeah, you didn't have no jewelry on, so could nobody snatch your earrings out your ear. Your lotion, so these cats go into a fight dressed up like they go into the prom with a weave. And and then the one girl, her hair just looked a full mess after the weave got snatched off. And I'm like, ladies, there are fight rules and fight etiquette. One of which is don't wear weave if you think you're gonna get into a fight.
Shell, what we used to say back in the day. A weave a dirty.
We didn't say it. Clearly, the age difference between me and Jermaine. Because when like the most we had back in the day, and Keisha just brought this up the other day. Don't tell Keisha nothing because she remember everything you say. But oh my God, dude, she can run it back to you word for word. You just be looking at her like she a freak of nature. But I had told her when I was in like the fourth grade, the fifth grade. It was maybe the sixth grade. I had two girls in my class, Sandra Walker and Yvette Marable. I'm like Ali Sadiq. I say real names because these are true stories. And this Negro had a wig on at school in like the sixth grade. And we was looking at her head like, cause we was kids when kids was innocent, and you just didn't know a lot. Your parents protected you and shielded you from a lot of, worldly street grown kind of activities. And so she came to school and she had a wig on, and we was like, she got on a wig.
And what grade y'all was in?
It was between the fourth and the sixth grade, but she got a wig on, and we were like, she got on a wig. Like that was the scandal of my day, that somebody actually had on a whole wig. We just didn't know what to do. We were like, well, I mean, this is crazy. So, as Jermaine said, what a weave a dirty?
Oh, weave a dirty.
Yeah, we know about weave. At the end of the day, I'm like, y'all need to stop playing. Going down here, getting into all this foolishness. and you walk around with something somebody could snatch off your head. Because people would snatch the wigs off back in the day.
Tumbleweed.
But you would have it braided down. You have a little cap on, but now, and then some of y'all, they snatching it out with the glue.
And on top of that shell, the wind was blowing, so it was like tumbleweed.
Dude, it was rolling down the street. Yeah. And so, like, girls was walking behind their friends who had just got beat up, picking up their hair. I was like, y'all have got to stop. This is, and then, people like, man, people hate to see blanks coming. Yeah. And somebody said, black folks hate to see them coming too. Like, but we don't have to behave this way. Or y'all don't, because I'll behave like this. Y'all don't have to do this. This is not entertainment. Why get dressed up to go somewhere and fight and get snatched up by security guards? And then this one little child on the video screaming, let me go, let me go. Well, you shouldn't have been doing all of this.
Right.
And I hope they promptly walked you to a police
car.
Yeah.
Right in the back.
And put your behind in the back and took you away. Why y'all come mess up the good time for everybody else?
Because I'm going to tell you why, Shell. Because these young people now are using social media to try to get famous. You want to go viral.
But I'm getting famous for fighting.
But that's the thing.
It's so ignorant.
But they have a fight house here in Milwaukee that people meet up.
A fight house?
It's a fight house in the city that people meet up in the living room.
A house?
It's a house that
like the way they have for people to fight dogs.
Oh, just like how they have dogs. They have this TV show now that people are now trying to do a replica of, but it's a TV show that girls go to the house and you sign up to fight. So they have you in this house and you go in the living room and you pick who you want to fight and you square up and fight and they record it. Well, here in the city, it's a fight house. I ain't gonna tell you where it's at on the air. I'll tell you off. But it's a fight house.
That's crazy.
That they meet up and they film on Facebook to fight, and they standing around, and they charge people to get in. Yeah.
So they paying the people that's fighting. So somebody charging to get in, you win a purse.
You win, yeah.
You win some. So we got our own informal.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view fights going on in somebody's house.
But this
is madness
from this TV show. I forgot the name of the show.
Not Fight Club.
No, this is our young black women that's fight. What is it called? Bad. It's called something. But I'll find it for you as soon as we go to a break and show you.
And I'm gonna tell you.
I mean, but people are capitalizing. I think it's one of these television.
I'm looking. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But I'm gonna tell you, and I sell this to Keisha all the time, and this is the one area that me and Lakeisha part ways. These hood ghetto,
ratchet shows.
What's the name of that mess? Atlanta Housewives or this. I don't watch none of that trash because it is the precursor to these little girls fighting in the street. You can't get through a dinner without somebody getting called a B, getting cussed out. They just ignorant, and these are educated women in most cases. And it's just the most ignorant, embarrassing thing. And people, what's it called? Bad girls. And people are like, oh, it's a guilty pleasure. That ain't no guilty pleasure. Because listen to the conversation. She had it on in the house one day over this holiday break. And they spent like 20 minutes on the show arguing about which bedroom somebody got put in at some little, resort or something that they went to. 20 minutes, grown women arguing about which room you got in the Airbnb or whatever it was they were staying in. And I'm like, this ain't mindless entertainment. All of these women disrespecting each other and showing that they can't, be together for 5 to 15 minutes before drama start. And then one woman egging another woman on to go after somebody. And then they want to sit. And then these little young girls is watching this trash at home. And then it helps to also, because everybody rap music. Nah, we got women setting bad examples for young girls. I completely go ahead, Jay. I completely disagree with those shows.
Okay, so it's crazy because the black version is called Baddies. The white version of the white people going to the house and get in the room to fight is called Bad Girls Club.
Yeah, Bad Girls Club.
So it's crazy because you got networks that's actually picking this stuff up and showing it, and our kids are watching it and they glued to this stuff. And then you wonder why they acting the fool.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the next. That's why I said these little shows, these housewife shows, it's just the precursor for a lot of the stuff that we see transpiring in the streets. And I'm just sorry. I'm like, I don't know how nobody that got good sense, is educated, sit up and believe that this nonsense is entertainment, because the level of ignorant profanity, slapping people, throwing drinks on people, grown 30, 40-year-old women, too old, but then they show their little family shots with their daughters, and they want to, baby their little daughters, and these the sweetest little angels. Your mama's a ratchet, trifling, fighting in the street, in a restaurant. Other people done pay, and they always be in expensive restaurants.
Throwing stuff.
People be done pay good money to come in here and eat. And then you create a whole commotion and disrespect everybody trying to eat. And the security got to pick y'all up, the camera crew, and take you out because your grown behind don't know how to act.
Right.
There's nothing entertaining about that. Right. I do not understand women who sit around and watch that kind of trash. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Because what an awful way, an awful representation of black women on television.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta come talking to me about what a rapper does to disrespect us. We disrespect ourselves when we participate in stuff like that. And you think because you put on a glittery dress with all your damn breasts hanging out, that somehow you've classed the whole thing up, when it's white folks getting rich off you black women acting a damn fool.
That's what I was about to say, man. These networks are getting millions.
There you go.
They are getting millions, and they get
that white boy that sit there interviewing all of them,
Adam,
whatever his name is, Andy or whatever, Adam. These people making buku money,
and they tied into with the feds.
And then okay, so the women on the shows may be making money, but look at the harm you were doing. And then you think because you own a business on the show, or you got a clothing line or a drink line, that you some type of businesswoman. No, you ratchet.
There you go.
I gotta take a break.
Talk to him and shit.
I'll be right back.
All
right, family, welcome back to the show. Got some callers that held through the break. At least one of them was able to stay with us. So let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, you were talking about some of the ratchetness that go on. Every Sunday and I agree with you on the reality TV. Every Sunday, though, I get around the TV and I watch Baddies. Right now, we're on Baddies USA, and I can understand what you're saying. You probably would be more interested in the bad boys, because I don't watch them because they got it's a bunch of homo thugs. They be in there fighting. I don't even want. But Jermaine was right about the White House, because I know a friend of mine, a girl called him late one night. She tapped out. They was fighting, and we talking about, I don't know. See, when these girls start giving their money to guys with tennis shoes, and they quit paying alligators and crocodiles, and even a good flotion, start giving their money to these guys with the tennis shoes, and thought they thinking they players. Here they had they had a little house over, and these guys betting thousands of dollars. Okay, so the girl messed around and tapped out. And so while she said, I got to get some air. So she went to get some air, and she run off on the young player. And she called this guy up. And he said, well, what part of the game is this? It's mad out here. But I watch Baddies every Sunday night. I got to see me some Natalie Young and her little crew that she got going. But at the same time, you're so right. You're so right. And guess what? It's a black network. Zeus. They on fire right now. Zeus is booming. I guess they're trying to build a network up into at least a Tubi or something. But to subscribe to it is about $69 a year. But I'm sure that you would probably like the old Bad Boys Club. Because Them Negroes over there, man, is saucy and sassy, and they fighting like crazy. And I don't want to see none of that. I get enjoyment out of this every Sunday night. It's a real brawl. And with that, I'm on land.
All right. Thank you so much for your call.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
See, I'm going to tell you, it takes all I can to watch a professional fight. And I think for me, because I come up in the era of Mike Tyson, I would watch Tyson fights. And then I remember, during my childhood, early teens, the George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, what was the one that, Walt Frazier? Was he a boxer?
Down goes Frazier, yeah.
Frazier. So I remember, my house, people gathering around the TV to watch these fights. Yeah. But I'm going to be clear. I'm not a huge fan of people beating up each other. It's just really not my thing. I think I was attracted to the Mike Tyson boxing era because of his hard luck story. This young guy, trying to figure out how to get out of poverty, paying attention to how folks was using him, to advance their own situations. And I was rooting for Mike to make it. It wasn't, I wanted to see Mike beat the crap out of somebody. I was rooting, though, if this was the avenue that you had to use to make it, I was rooting for him to make it. But I'm not a huge watcher of fights. I'm just not. And at least, in some of these situations, it's structured. There are some rules. You can't hit after the bell. If somebody gets a cut opened up over their eye, we can stop the fight for that. There's things that you can immediately apply to, contain the bleeding. There are some type of medical safeguards in place in those structured situations. But this other stuff that people just out here doing, just free balling and fighting, none of that's for me. None of that's for me. And I definitely don't want to see, even when Muhammad Ali's daughter was boxing, I never watched any of her fights. Because just that whole idea of women fighting like that, and let me be clear, I'm all for whooping somebody's behind when it's called for. 100%. But for sport, I don't do that for sport. I am not somebody that takes great joy in people beating up on each other. And particularly when you understand, even though we've seen some colossal paydays for fighters, but think about this. If that's what they can afford to pay the winner, and the loser gets a nice little chunk of change too. In these major, fights, how much you think the people putting the whole thing on is making? If I can give you a $20 million purse, how much do you think I'm making? Like, let that sink in. How much if I can pay you 20 million, I'm making 60 or 100 million. Yeah. So, nah, Mitch, I wouldn't find any degree of none of that to be interesting to me. I'm gonna catch this one other caller and then switch gears a little bit. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Michelle. Haven't talked to you in a while. This is Annette.
Hey, Miss Annette, how you doing this morning?
Girl, I'm blessed. I woke up this morning, and that's good enough for me.
All right now.
All right. Now, my dad was a Golden Glove boxer.
Okay.
And I'm so proud of him for that. He's no longer with me for many years. But he always talked to the young men and told them, if you use your hands and you fight, you live. You live to see another day. I mean, he all up and down the block. He said, come on, let's go in the backyard. And I remember the day that my brother, he stole a car, knowing that Daddy had to go to work. And he said, where's my car? And Ricky Joe stole the car. I said, ooh, you gonna get it? My brother did, Michelle. He brought the car back, but he didn't come. My father went to get him, right? my father hit the wall. He said, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. And my father broke all the fingers in his hands, right? And let me tell you, that brother joined the Marines. Okay? He didn't come back
So
home.
he had to get out of town.
Okay? So the second thing is, though, what really, I'm like you. My father didn't like fighting. He said, well, we are going to, I can't fight anymore because when my father stopped him from fighting, he loved it, and I did too. But what stopped him is that he had to have a plate put in his head, and they didn't know it until he did the X-rays. But yes, they had X-rays back then, but he was back in all those fighters way back, and I didn't know that, and they had to put a plate in his head, and they said, "Well, that did it." But yes, Frazier, Muhammad Ali, and I sit there. I didn't play with dolls. I just did fights and all the stuff he liked. And I wanted Joe Frazier to win. I could not stand Muhammad Ali.
What?
I don't know why. I'm not mad. I love anybody but him. I guess he was too, I don't know, just, I'm Muhammad Ali. And yeah, that was just me. Everybody get mad at me if you want to, but not everybody likes Muhammad Ali. And I was one of them. Other than that, you live, because you know he's there. And I wish these children would get it in their head. They ain't got to pick up no gun. They can use their hands, but they ain't going to do that. That was just my comment for today. You live to see another day if you use your fist.
Yes,
But they ain't
ma'am.
going to do that.
Thank
I
you.
love you, girl. I love all y'all in that studio. Y'all know that. You live to see another day. Maybe we can put a poster up there. And 2 kids, a big old poster up on the sideline. You live to see another day if you use your fist. Thank you for that.
All right, thank you.
Public service announcement by Sister D. God bless you.
Was it a commercial?
I think it was. I'm not sure. I'm not paying attention to this thread completely, but I think I saw a question about, and why is that any different from any other sporting event? Football, basketball, baseball, hockey. I'm not sure if we're talking about the whole fighting aspect of it. But again, as long as it is controlled and organized so that we're ensuring that people are not getting killed and seriously, hurt, it doesn't have to be any different from other sports, even though I think hockey is way too violent and it's gratuitous violence. You watch some of the stuff that's going on in these hockey rings and it's like, y'all ain't got to do all of that to play this game. And the crowd, they salivating when the swing stick starts swinging and the punches start being, thrown. It's just like they lose their mind over it. And it's just ignorant to me. I just don't understand that level of engagement to have a sporting activity. But that's me. I'm a little bit different. All right. So we got a caller? Okay, yeah, I'll take them in. Hey, caller, let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
What's up, baby?
Hang on, you got us on speaker. Your phone is breaking up on us. It's still breaking up. Try again. Hello? Okay, they hung up. Yeah, your phone was breaking up pretty bad, but please feel free to call us back. If we can make it work, we will. All right, so I need to just take a second because some of you may have saw that there was huge. I really wanted to kind of mess with the speech that Frederick Douglass had given. What is the 4th of July to the slave? But I don't think I'm gonna do it because it was a lot. It was a lot. But the funeral procession that some of us have had a chance to see for the Ayatollah Khomeini, which the crowds were crazy. Okay. So if you have not paid attention, a lot of things are just, people back in the day used to say stuff gets lost in the sauce. We have so much going on and coming at us that it's hard to keep up. I keep saying we have a Venezuelan president in an American prison in New York and his wife, and yet you barely hear about these people. We have Republicans who are vowing to introduce legislation to figure out a way to end birthright citizenship. We have folks saying that, nope, send people that are in protected class in terms of immigration policies, temporary protected class status, that they need to be sent back to Haiti, even though we know the civil unrest in Haiti is crazy, but we can bring over a plane full of white South Afrikaners because y'all got to give back land that your family member stole. I mean, like, it's just real interesting, the situation that we find ourselves in. So you're trying to pay attention to it all. Which story do I cover? Which thing do I talk about? What should grab my attention today? And I'm flipping channels and I see a news story regarding the funeral and burial being televised of Ayatollah Khomeini. And remember, he gets killed at the onset of the war with the U.S. and Iran and Israel. He's killed out the gate. His son, who has since taken over, but nobody has really seen his son, so they don't know what's going on. But thousands of people poured into the streets as they carried this man's body through Iran and neighboring Iraqi areas. Okay. Thousands of people. So he was killed back in February, like February 28th. So it kind of got me. I'm like, well, I guess there wasn't any real big ceremony or funeral or anything to commemorate this man's death from his people that supported him. And I got to take a break, but looking at that crowd, it just reminded me of something that I say all the time. We didn't resolve anything in relationship to Iran. Whatever this little conversation is and these peace talks, and, we got a ceasefire going on right now. If you think for 5 minutes that there are not people in those crowds, young people coming up under the people that supported this particular individual, are going to forget what happened and all will be right with the world, you got another thing coming, another thought coming. They do not forget. We can never sleep easy. One eye must always be open. And it's going to be worse than we even predicted. But see, these folks think, because I carry a big stick and I talk real loud and I got ignorant Pete Hegseth at the microphone, trying to act like he on some religious mission from God to wipe all these people out, that we got favor. We don't. These folks will sit in the cut just like Republicans for 20 and 30 and 40 years until they figure out how to pay us back. That funeral was a stark reminder of just my belief on that. I got to take a break. I'll be right back.
WNOV.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. So we got 2 callers. I also want to try to work into the conversation this morning just briefly. This is a moment, I promise you, I think about Keon and talking about the brother who has been traveling with the Dominican Republicans soccer team and going into the stadiums and standing in a statuesque pose, paying homage and giving a nod of respect to the assassinated leader, Patrice Lumumba. There are certain names that Keon would mention in talking about social issues, social justice issues all the time. And Patrice Lumumba was one of those. I want to talk about how he was denied access to the United States. He's been able to go all over the world and in stadiums stand in signature dress. This is a fan, but he stands in signature dress, sometimes with his hand raised in the defiant way in which Patrice Lumumba had been photographed. But the clothes, the glasses, everything is a clear giveaway to exactly who he is, exactly what he's doing. And he'll stand the entire time that the team is playing in this frozen state. I mean, his ability to do this is crazy. And so, but when it's time for him to come to the U.S., all of a sudden there's a visa issue, there's a problem. They don't allow him to come to the U.S. and do it. But another brother from the continent, seeing that they don't allow this guy to come in, and I'll mention his name and stuff after I get the callers, he decides, that's all right, I'll stand in for him. And so he dons the garb and, holds it down. And I just couldn't help but smile. I was like, see, that's what it looks like when we show up for one another, when we have each other's back. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're from. If, you from the, and I said the Dominican Republic, but I meant the Congo. But it doesn't matter where you're from, that you look like me. Somebody got their foot on your neck. Oh, I'm coming to your aid. Or I'm going to pick up whatever the fight is that they're trying to shut you down on. But let me go to the phone line and I'll circle back on this. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. Hey, good morning.
Hey, I think when you talked about those crowds, I felt the same thing. But see, most of us still remember 9/11. That was anger, and it was formulated over years. I mean, those people were so angry at us, they were willing to learn to fly planes and do all the things you do as an American, but yet their ultimate goal was to kill Americans, which they did, 5,000 or so. And so that anger can be manifested in more ways than people think. And you're right, when somebody has that kind of hate for you, it comes back at you in ways you never thought, and it probably you'll see it right in front of you. I mean, I sat in a meeting the morning of 9/11, and we watched that second plane hit that tower, and it was just stark to think that somebody would run a filled up plane into the building and kill all those people. And so it was. So here we are now, creating the same environment, not necessarily for us now, but for our children and their safety in the next 10 to 20 years. They created a monster, and they won't even be around to do anything about it.
No, thank you, Tyrone, for breaking that connection and that correlation. I think it's a great way to help kind of drive home that point, because when the 9/11 Commission issued their report on what was the reason or the rationale that we were struck in that way, some of the things that they came away with was people were still mad about the U.S. interventions and sanctions against Iraq going back to the 1990s. Financial support for Israel and the Palestinian conflict also came up as a part of what went on with those strikes. Troops in Saudi Arabia. I mean, people felt like American troops were desecrating holy ground in terms of, when they were in these areas. So these people have a long memory. And I just looked at that visual of that. I was like, it's going to be a price to pay for all of this.
And then on top of that, they let them people off. Most of those people, they know what country they came from. They didn't punish Saudi Arabia. They didn't punish any of those places where they came from. And so now there's this whole thing, we're wiping Iran off the map. I said, how?
Right.
Just have we been trained to deal with nuclear fallout? Nope. I mean, we were supposedly trained in the 60s when the Russian missile crisis in Cuba. We had to go and do drills every day. We had water in the basement. They had rations. we were trained to get ready for what was coming as when I was in 12th Street School back in the 50s, 60s. And so what do you don't, there is no training in America for any kind of catastrophic thing. Not even, well, they know what happens with a hurricane because you know it's coming. But other things like we're talking about, you don't know they coming till they here.
Right.
And so it's just, you create that kind of hate, you know, and so in the same way when John Brown went after those slave folks, and they thought they had created, they thought they had they wanted him, but he went on to what he just wanted to kill people because he was so mad over slavery and the way people were being treated. So sometimes hate can linger, but it also can have a due date. And so I'm scared for my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, in the future when some of these people suddenly show up to do things and they don't care what your age is, what your race is, what your religion is, as what happened in 9/11. They just wanted to kill America.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyrone. Like I said, that was a perfect way to illustrate the concerns I've raised. We got another caller. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, just want to piggyback off of what this previous caller said, and then I want to go back to some things you were saying earlier.
Okay.
You know, when you say that those people have a long memory, it's because they've been fighting for thousands of years.
Mm.
This country hasn't. You know, we only been around, 400? And so, like he said, it's the kids and grandkids that we got to worry about being safe from them. And like he said, they'll all be gone. But what I want to get back to is when you were talking about the Housewives of Atlanta and all that,
mm-hmm.
It reminded me of something that Al Sharpton said a few years ago. He said, this just doesn't have a domestic impact on America, these shows. They have an international and global impact.
Right.
He said, imagine if you were, say, a middle-of-the-road person and you lived in Germany or you lived in France or you lived in China, and you said, you know, they talk about black people so bad, let me just look at one of these TV shows and see what they're like. And they happen to tune in to Love and Hip Hop or the Housewives of Atlanta, and they see all that. What do you think they're going to say? Well, they're just like the white people in America say they are. Look at them.
I mean, but like literally, it's funny that you would use that as the example because there was just a story on about these German folks that are in town or in the country for FIFA for the soccer tournaments, and they were talking about they were scared to travel here because of all of the coverage on U.S. cities and crime and shootings. And I know some of that was based on what they think and believe about black people living in this country. Right. So you're right. And then one fan, he actually talked about like, well, I got here and, people were actually very nice to me. And, I didn't run into what I thought I was going to, but they said just what you're saying. We were scared to come over here.
See, and we don't understand truly how America projects us to the world.
Exactly.
This is what I'm saying. This is how America projects us to the world, and so when you see that, and you see these shows, the white folks are making millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a year off of this stuff, And what do we get? We get the despiteful looks and all that stuff.
Yeah. And then we don't understand. Then we get upset with everybody else about how they view us and how they interact with us. But you helping, you helping that nonsense, those negative portrayals to be carried. And so, no, I thank you because it's a perfect point. It's a good point.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you, bro. Uh-huh. Got another caller. Let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. When Arabs attack black people in Africa or non-black, if we want to call them that, Coptic people, Nubian people, everybody in North Africa or the other countries that the Arabs invaded in the Middle East, Armenians were slaughtered by the Turks. Did the Turks slaughter Armenians because we bombed them, because we did something to do Arabs today kill each other and attack Africans in between? Let's have a little rape party in between killing each other. Is this because of something America did to them or the West did to them?
Are you looking for an answer? Or are you just rhetorically asking, what are you doing?
Serious.
Say
Serious
what?
Question. Serious question.
So, John, like, I have to say this to you like a couple of times. As opposed to asking me the question, make the point you want to make, John. It's easier that way.
Okay, well, the question is because I keep hearing a blame that we brought on everything and we caused all this stuff. But
so wait, so who is we? Who is we?
America.
Okay.
The West, intervention.
And so wait, and so it's a complaint that America has brought on a bunch of negative stuff concerning who?
Against us because we did something to them. Or Israel did something to them, and that they're just innocent people who just are mad at us because we intervened in their world. And I keep trying to bring out to you that you got an empire over there because they're not organized on a map that says, here's the Arab Empire. Instead, you see a whole bunch of little colors on it on a modern map where it looks like, oh, there's Algeria, there's Sudan, there's Morocco. They're all disconnected. But we don't have a map, an old-fashioned map that says, here's the Arab Empire. But they have their League of Arab States. They have all of their, what they call the Arab Street, meaning every single Arab country has its fighters, and their goal is Arab Empire. So they don't care. They're mad, of course.
But but John, there are people that understand the complex issues that center around Arabs, blacks. I mean, we actually have terms like Afro-Arabs because of even the fact that there have been, times when there have been peaceful existence, and these people have, commingled, had children, and then also the insufferable violence that has also occurred. But I think that the distinction is that, particularly when black folks are talking about a lot of the issues that we see, no, here in America, we're not going back to grab the historical drama between Arabs, blacks in the region. They're looking at what they see happening here in the States. And unfortunately, while it may be uncomfortable to hear, a lot of it is white people. A lot of it is some of the issues that they have with the way Israel is protected at almost all costs at the expense of everybody else, John. So they're looking at it through different lenses. While you want to do geopolitical, and there's nothing wrong with that, and expand out, like making sure that we understand a lot of people have had their hands in the pot. And this mess that we get is created from a bunch of different, players. But when we talk about certain things, particularly specific to America, then yeah, they're going to identify white folks. They are going to identify how Israel and the support of Israel has potentially helped to lead to some of those issues and those conflicts. So I think we got to also understand the lens by which the listeners, the viewers, the people paying attention to some of this are looking at it. I'm not going all the way across the rest of the world to see who throwing trash in my front yard here on Capitol Drive. I'm paying attention to what's happening and the players on Capitol Drive. And I don't think that people are short-sighted. They just are trying to deal with what they got in front of them.
Okay. You just got through it before I called several of a list of things that we've been doing to them over there. The them meaning Arabs and their Confederates. So,
but John, is there a lack of truth in some of that stuff? Because one of the things that I think I don't frequently hear enough is acknowledgement that some of that stuff has happened, that there has been some targeted, I'm sorry, there's nothing that Israel can do to make me feel good about the way they handled this latest issue with Hezbollah and the folks that attacked them on October 7th, and the way they killed all these Palestinian people and tore up everything they own. You can't make, there's just not enough that you can do to help justify that. Even understanding the long storied history of these arguments and these fights. I get it. But
Okay,
there has to be some deference made to the fact that there are times when these other groups have been wrong.
Okay. Look, okay. I'm talking about connecting dots, and the dots are there's an Arab empire. Can you even say that sentence right now? There is an Arab empire. Can you say that?
As opposed to any other empires? We got all kinds of empires. Why do I need to isolate out and specifically say there's an Arab empire? We have all kinds of empires, John.
Because we're talking about the Middle East. I'm just asking.
We're talking about, no, it's not just we're talking about the Middle East. You keep making it about the Middle East. We're talking about a confluence of things. Americans have supported and propped up different factions that have helped to make these problems exacerbated for people in our country. So it's not just we're talking about the Middle East.
We blew up the Nazi towns. We destroyed the whole country. We tore that country up. We flattened it. We bombed factories because we were in the right. Now the question is, did we deliberately?
Wait. We did what? We tore it up because we were in the right. Hang on. Did you say because we were in the right?
In the right because we destroyed. Yeah, we destroyed Germany because we were in the right. Were we?
Wait. We destroyed an entire country because we were in the right. You mean because we were in the we were morally right?
Well, of course, yes.
So no, you don't get to say that to me. No, you don't get to say that to me.
Destroy the Nazis?
No, it's one thing to destroy a philosophy and an ideology and say, therefore, we get to destroy a whole people. Like when Donald Trump talks about the fact that we will blow Iran off the map. You don't get to do it with me, John. No,
well, I'm asking a
that's why we have what they call rules of engagement. That's why, and people had to go and create those because the way some of these wars have previously been fought was fought wrong. I don't get to tear up everybody because some of y'all leaders are behind.
Did we fight World War II right or wrong? That's all I'm asking you.
John, what did I just say?
It sounded like you're saying that there's rules that we broke in World War II.
There were, just like there are rules we break today. Just like there are rules of engagement we break all the time. We have abused people that we were not supposed to abuse.
What should we have done in World War II?
John, I'm sorry. The ends don't always justify the means. It does not for me. I'm not that. And that whole, we got the moral high road and we got the moral ground and we killing all kinds of innocent people who don't have nothing to do with what Hitler and his minions was trying to do. They just caught up. They in the wrong place at the wrong time. So we gonna kill everybody? No, John, I ain't with that.
Did not have anything to do with Hitler?
John, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. You cannot make me ignore all of these people and everything that got destroyed in Palestine when these people were not trying to get into that skirmish, or skirmish is a ridiculous word, when they were not trying to get into this war with Israel. These people were just in the way.
No, it's not.
You blow up every hospital. You blow up every school. You blow up every housing structure. You wipe them off the face of the earth. That's genocide. In the name of, you took 1,200 people from us, we're going to take thousands and millions from y'all. That's ignorant to me.
How would you have fought the war?
I would have fought it in a way that you seek to take out military capabilities and decentralize folks' ability to come at you in the way that they did. I am not just saying I raise everything. Or, I suspect that there is, like them 200 kids that had got killed in that school that America is said to have been responsible for. It's a school. Oh, we believe it may be some activity underneath the ground. So you're going to blow up that school with 200 babies in it that don't have nothing to do with this?
Are you saying that the Iranian government put those kids next to the Iranian building?
I know people. Let me just tell you something, John. And thank you for the call. I appreciate it. But let me just say this before I wrap my show for today. See, we have, particularly in the Black community, up until recently, we had codes that govern the way we engaged with people we had beef with. We didn't kill children. We didn't kill women because most of the time women didn't have nothing to do with it. And we didn't blow up a whole neighborhood. It was targeted. We came for him. We caught him. In fact, we would let him leave the house so we could catch him by himself and blow his head off. But we wasn't going to tear up the whole family to get him. Things have changed over the years. But John, That is why military strategists and countries had to come together and think about, we cannot damage and tear up everything in the course of trying to exact whatever revenge, retribution, defense that we feel we have to protect ourselves. Israel don't get to do all the damage that they did in Palestine, and now, basically trying to do the same thing in relationship to Iran and claim, because we got to protect ourselves. Your life ain't no more damn valuable than nobody else's. But you don't lose 1,200 people and then think it's okay for you to kill and displace millions of people. That it just don't work for me. I'm not that kind of person. But I agree. You got to understand a lot of the story. And there may be details we don't talk about on a regular basis. But you're not going to get people not to talk about what they see and what's in front of them. The U.S. done had their hands in so much damn dirt, both domestically and abroad, that has backfired on us. It's crazy. They have given arms to people that shouldn't have had them because they thought they were going to get, whatever they wanted from that country, overthrow leadership, get access to resources. And so they flood the zone with arms. And then when the mess go off the rails, the people they tried to put in power end up either getting in power and being more ruthless than the folks they tried to take out, or a civil war breaks out. Then the U.S. want to stand back and throw their hands up like, we didn't do that. Just like this nonsense with drugs in the black community. That's the United States government that floods black communities with drugs, that flooded black communities with drugs to finance wars abroad. When they was going after some of them Arab countries, they used black folks' bodies and black folks' lives to finance wars abroad. So if you're looking for a friend that's going to talk with this, talk about this to a degree of, they're always blaming us. You talking to the wrong people. Black folks ain't about to be no damn ally on this. You talking to the wrong people. All right, I gotta go. Family, I appreciate y'all. Everybody that weighed in on Facebook, I appreciate you and all the callers, every single one of them. That makes the conversation happen because that's how we learn and get educated. I appreciate it. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.